Texas 79, Oklahoma 69. This is my official reaction to January 31st, 2026 Red River rivalry in basketball. And this is Random SEC. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We are doing great on all socials, and we appreciate your help there, but we're still trying to grow this YouTube thing, so a subscribe would be really, really helpful. Let's get into it. 79-69, your final score. Texas finally gets an unranked win. It's been a struggle for them to do that. They are currently 4-5 in conference play. 3 of those wins have been against ranked teams. This is their first one against an unranked team. 5 of those losses against unranked teams. So this is a Texas team, right? We know they can be good. They've beaten top teams. We know that they can be legit. They almost beat UConn. We've seen it time and time again that when this team is firing on all cylinders, it's one of the better teams in the SEC, but they struggled against unranked teams. And you go on the road to Oklahoma, you feel like this is the time to do it, and you do. And it didn't look pretty at times, but at the end of the day, you get it done. Huge, huge performance in the clutch by Dailyn Swain. Now, he's got to be a guy who's one of the better players in the SEC, one of the best players in the SEC, to be honest. He just absolutely took over in the final minutes. Chendall Weaver, a guy that for me, he's the X factor for Texas. He is, maybe not the best player, maybe not the most talented, but he's kind of that guy like Billy Richmond for Arkansas or players for others. He's a spark plug. He gets in there. He gets the dirty balls. He gets all the 50-50 balls. And without him, you do not win this game, and you do not win a lot of games. If you're Texas, he's a guy you absolutely love to have. He's a guy that I love to watch play. Um, Simeon Simeon Wilcher had a good game as well. Matas Voikatades had a great game. And a guy that has shown up for Texas the last 2 games is Camden Hyde. He's been a guy that really just hasn't showed up at all. He hasn't really played a lot, but these last 2 games, he's been a very good player for Texas. And it felt like this was the one because the game before this on Tuesday or on Wednesday, you played at Auburn. Now, Auburn's a pretty good team. They're playing better. They're on a win streak, and they're really hard to beat at home. And you had that game. You had like what, a 13-point lead, and you let it blow by you, and you wave it off. It was maybe a disappointing loss, but it's not devastating. You come into this game with that being said, and you have to win this game now at Oklahoma, and that's exactly what you did. For Oklahoma, though, 1-7 in conference play. It's the same story again and again and again. You have a big lead on good teams, and you let it go down. Like, you can't finish games. That's as simple as it gets for Porter Moser and this OU squad. How much longer does Porter Moser have? Because it's not looking good this season. I'm not going to say it's a full-on bust. I'm not going to say that they don't have what it takes to muster up some sort of comeback in the season, but it's right now, for what I think OU should be, it's not up to par. Like I went to the Oklahoma Arkansas game earlier this weekend. I looked up and I saw banners of Final Fours. Like this is a Oklahoma team that is very, very much underachieving. Nigel Pack has been great for them. Xavier Brown has been great for them. And it's not really that guys aren't stepping up. It's that they can't finish games. They had Arkansas on the ropes, up 13, and they blew that one. They had Texas on the ropes here. I think they were up 15 at one point, and they blew this one. They even had Nebraska, who like a top 5 team. They had them up 15, and they still blew that one in the non-conference. So Oklahoma, you got to find a way to close out games, and that's a pretty tough thing to teach, especially when it keeps happening again and again and again. But also, it gives you a slight bit of hope that we are as good as these teams. We just got to figure out how to finish games. But the story is on Texas in their 10-point win against their rival. You never thought this one was going to be easy. Um, you're going to your rivals arena, and they've been close with just about everyone. So you never thought this one was going to be easy. And you needed a guy to step up in the clutch to finish the game. It was the difference in the game because OU didn't have that guy who was going to step up in the clutch, make those clutch shots. That was Dailyn Swain for Texas. He did it again. Another 20-point game, another double-double for Dailyn Swain. He's been just absolutely the guy that Texas has leaned on. It's been Tremont Mark in some games, but overall it's been Dailyn Swain. But Jordan Pope, another guy, a guy who was on the Texas team last year, but he, at some point, it felt like he was just, it wasn't his day. But at some point in the late second half, he turns it on, and it is exactly what Texas needed. Him, Kendall Weaver, and Dailyn Swain in a combination was the difference in this game down in the clutch time. What it like so for Texas, you're 4-5 in conference play. It feels like you gotta make the tournament if you're Sean Miller, year 1. You got to at least, make positive steps from what happened last year with Rodney Terry. That just, in my opinion, that seems like what needs to happen. And right now, I think they're on a pretty good trajectory for that path. But when is it going to be taking that next step? I agree. I like what you did here, a road win. This was a very needed step. You've beaten ranked teams, but you got to be consistent. So for Texas, the challenge for you is in these next games to keep winning. It's one of the easier stretches in conference play. I feel like that you can get. Every game's going to be tough, but you got South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Missouri and LSU. Those are 4 games that if you can go 4-0 in that stretch, then you're looking pretty, and then go into that final stretch that's going to be pretty tough. No game is easy in the SEC, but if you're gonna call a stretch easy, this is what it would be. Texas 79, Oklahoma 69 at Oklahoma. Like, let me get this straight, guys. When that place was rocking and that place was full to the brim of Oklahoma fans. I don't know how much it will be from here on out, but that was a rough environment, a tough environment to win in, and they did. They went in there and they got that W. Great for Sean Miller's squad. Great for Texas. Can they keep it up going into this 4-game stretch where they got some of the easier half of the SEC, but overall, just a fantastic win for Sean Miller and company. And Texas is trying to make their tournament bid seem that much more likely. Thank you for watching my complete reaction. Make sure to stay tuned and subscribe for all of my reactions and much more SEC content in football, basketball, and baseball. And follow us on all socials. Once again, we're doing great on all socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, all the deals. But we're still trying to grow this YouTube thing. So a subscribe would really be appreciated. Thank you for watching.